breaking news that came out, which is, again, yes, there's another Trump lawsuit, but maybe not the way you're thinking. Because maybe it's the shoe is on the other foot, if you will, Will.
The president's attorneys informed the Department of Justice of his intent to sue for $100 million in damages over the execution of the search warrant at Mar-a-Lago back in 2022. So this is an administrative tort claim against the DOJ. It argues that Attorney General Garland and Director Wray applied, quote, inconsistent standards and were guilty of, quote, clear dereliction of constitutional principles. This is the case that Judge Cannon dismissed just weeks ago on the grounds that the special counsel was not constitutionally appropriate in that role and was not appointed under the Constitution. And so what we have now is the president going on the offensive, seeking $100 million in damages. Now, the DOJ has 180 days from receipt of the intent to sue to respond to the notice and try to come to a resolution. If not, then the suit can move forward in federal court. So we will see what happens. This is a move at a time where the president is looking to go on the offensive and push back against the deep state.
People see Trump fights back with lawsuit. Hey, Trump is fighting with a lawsuit. That's right, because former President Trump is set to sue the Justice Department for $100 million, big ones, in damages. This was over the Mar-a-Lago property raid. Give a little background again on that.
That's right. So this is a notice has been served to the Department of Justice and making a claim under the Federal Tort Claims Act. So this is the mechanism for which a private individual can sue the government if they have been wronged in some way by a federal employee that was acting on behalf of the government. So what we're seeing here is that this suit is now there's 180 days that the federal government, the Department of Justice, can respond or try to settle this before going to court. After that, if it is not resolved, then it will go into federal court in the Southern District of Florida. This is the Mar-a-Lago raid case, so the Jack Smith case that was related to the classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. Now, this raid did take place before Jack Smith was appointed. So the FBI first raided, and then after the raid is when Merrick Garland appointed Jack Smith as special counsel. That case has been thrown out of court by Judge Cannon because she ruled that he was unconstitutionally appointed. It wasn't an appropriate appointment. As an officer of the United States would normally need to go through some sort of confirmation process, and he was not. It also violated the Appropriations Act because of the Appropriations amendment in the Constitution because of the way that they even bragged about having an unlimited budget with unlimited scope to go after the president. So what President Trump is trying to do here is actually fight back. In one of these cases, the first opportunity to fight back, not just be the defendant and fight it all the way to the Supreme Court, by trying to go on the offensive. Now, it's a long shot. These aren't claims that are typically just dished out. It's not an easy process, especially since the case, although it's been thrown out, the raid happened before Jack Smith was appointed. So it wasn't necessarily at the direction of Jack Smith.
There's also another piece that's going on. You guys talked about this Friday when I was out, which is that one of the cases for Trump has been delayed significantly. We were pushing for it. It was potentially going to happen. It looks like it was approved.
In this one, Jack Smith had asked for a 3-week delay, saying that he needed more time to parse out how this case will go forward in light of the immunity decision by the U.S. Supreme Court, as well as the decision by the Supreme Court in the Fisher case. That was the case against another January 6th defendant, that it was the obstruction of an official act were the charges that the Supreme Court said were overbroad. And so that defendant was able to get those removed. And those were also 2 charges that President Trump had been charged with. So within all of these 2 things, these 2 Supreme Court decisions that happened July 1st and June 28th of this year, that now he's saying, I still need more time. It's been over a month. That status hearing would have been plenty of time, you would think, for him to be able to get his ducks in a row to figure out which way to go. He needs more time, and the judge agreed on Friday to push this back. So the new hearing date will be September 5th is when their status hearing will be, which was supposed to be August 16th.
Yeah, so just a couple weeks, 3 weeks from now, that'll be happening. So, I mean, it got delayed, but not extensively, just enough.
That's right. But the big question is, as Jack Smith looks through all this, and in light of what the Supreme Court did, will there even be a case at all to move forward with? How narrow will his scope now become? And will the judge have to do any steps like an evidentiary hearing so she can parse out which things they intend to bring, which may run afoul of the Supreme Court's opinion in the immunity case?
Trump's suing the Department of Justice for $100 million.
That's right. So attorneys for the president have informed the Department of Justice of his intent to sue for $100 million in punitive damages over the execution of the search warrant at his Mar-a-Lago estate in 2022. So this is an administrative tort claim against the DOJ. It argues that the Attorney General and FBI Director applied inconsistent standards and were guilty of a clear dereliction of constitutional principles when they approved this search warrant. And they are now, the DOJ has 180 days to respond to try and settle this before going forward. If they are unable to reach some sort of agreement, then it will go to federal court in the Southern District of Florida, where we will see a lawsuit against the Department of Justice.
I did want to say thank you. I just watched our YouTube numbers go up, and we just crossed 420,000 subscribers on YouTube. 420,000 individual accounts have subscribed to the ACLJ's YouTube channel. I want you to understand, if you're brand new, that is a great way to engage, because I'm not going to ask you necessarily to make a donation. If you make a donation, if you enjoy our content, you enjoy our legal work, if you enjoy our content, we do this each and every day. Can't do it without an amazing team. I mean, there's dozens and dozens of people just working on this 1 hour a day. So I encourage you to always give if you can, and then subscribe either way. But if you're brand new, I encourage you. It's 420,000. I know for some, you may hear a number and go, oh, well, compared to like Mr. Beast, that's nothing. They got 300 million. Understand, that's 420,000 people who are looking for different ways to communicate, different voices in the room that are against the mainstream press, the mainstream news. We are an alternative news source. We're an alternative media source. We are available for you for free on YouTube, on Rumble. Isn't that amazing? There's more people who are subscribed to our channel that watch most of CNN. Think about it that way. It's pretty great. And guess what? No cost to you, but that's because of individual donors and ACLJ champions. Those are people that can support the work of the ACLJ financially, whether it's on an ongoing monthly basis, an ACLJ champion. That's what we call recurring donors. And by the way, there's no baseline for that. I think its minimum is $5 just because you have to do that for the credit card transaction fees. So I think it's like $5, and you can choose. If you want to be a champion at $5, God bless you. If you want to be a champion at $1,000, we'll do it. And right now, all those donations are matched.